Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today's video is taken from someone that left a comment on my community tab page, and I asked what videos would you like to see. They're a little bit different, where I don't just have to do a full review or a first impression, and it's something just a little bit different than the usual. And a subscriber suggested doing a video on what's it like to be a YouTube reviewer. And I thought about that for a minute, and really a lot of what came to mind is is mostly the negative stuff, because you get people from all over the world judge you very quickly, like your entire personality. They just presume they know everything about you and judge you quite harshly and leave you nasty comments and say things that aren't true. And that's kind of the thing that you kind of think about when someone asks you what's it like to be a YouTuber, is all the negative stuff. I mean, there's a lot of positive, obviously. There's lots of nice people, and you get to communicate with people that share the same passion, and that's why you keep doing what you do, and it's enjoyable because of that. But the things that stick with you usually are the negative. So this video is delving into, well, actually, kind of what I thought I would do is merge two different ideas. The idea of what's it like to be a YouTube reviewer, and mixing, if you've ever watched I think it's called The Late Show in America, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do something called Celebrities Reading Mean Tweets, and it's quite hilarious the way it's done. So I thought I would do, reviewers read mean tweets, except they're not tweets, they're YouTube comments and Facebook posts and base notes posts and things like that. So I'm going to read some mean comments, and you can have a laugh, and at the same time it gives you kind of an inkling of what YouTube reviewers have to put up with, being constantly judged by people on the internet that actually don't know anything about you. So here we go. So one of the first comments, will start off easy. Someone just says, "Looks like a bootleg Jeremy, lol." Not too bad. Pretty mediocre. We'll start off small. And the next one, is from Vladimir, and he writes, "FragranceView, not for me. He has a very, very simple, linear kind of view, based on kids' game. I like it or not. Example is, many ingredients he doesn't like, so it must be blah 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 blah. That kills a review. The other, even more important thing is obsessing whether is it natural or is it synthetic, and that is absurd." So I get kind of that thrown at me a lot, is people complaining about me talking about synthetics, or complaining that I never like anything, or why don't I review something that I actually like, and that gets thrown at me like often, and people don't appreciate kind of when I do nice reviews. I've got plenty of reviews where I say things smell good, but no one seems to remember those. They only seem to remember the ones where I said I don't like them. So I get that thrown at me a lot, is people complaining that I either never like anything or that I'm always talking about synthetics. But again, it's people that really don't watch all my content. They just watch a few videos and then make up their mind that that's what I am, and they don't like me because of it. The only way I can really logically think of why that would be a thing. But anyway, moving on. Brandon writes, "Peter is like the most soft-spoken, timid reviewer I know of. Seems like a nice guy. I'm just too impatient for a lot of his videos because they're so long." I just think it's funny when he says I'm the most soft-spoken, timid reviewer. Really? Like, I can obliterate houses quite easily. I don't think a soft-spoken, timid reviewer would have the balls to say Fuang Dang is a complete rip-off, and, go watch that review, Brandon. Maybe you'll have a different opinion. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being soft-spoken, though. It's not a bad thing. So, moving up in the game, Bavesh writes, "Bro, why you sniffed all perfume when you don't buy anything from shop? in my opinion, you are most poorer reviewer in fragrance community. Fuck you, men. Thank you, Bravesh. Appreciate that. So for a little bit of context, this is on a video where I'm in one of the shopping centres in Dubai, the Bergerman, I think it's called. And I went around and sniffed some perfume, and I sat in a shop, and a very nice gentleman showed me the line, and I smelled them all and thanked him very much for his time and left. And because I didn't buy anything, I find this mentality weird that, you know, that you can't go into a shop to sample something and leave without buying anything. Like, why is that? Why do people feel like they have to buy something if they go into a shop? I just don't get that. Like, they're more than happy for you to try things out. You're not obligated to spend money and buy something if you don't want to or don't like it. It's just crazy kind of mentality that you would have no money if every shop you went in you had to buy something. You know, you can look and you can sniff, but you don't have to go and buy everything. Okay, I'm pulling up some comments. I might leave this. I get a lot of kind of sarcastic comments and comments that just kind of insinuate that I'm stupid. John David is a good example of that, but he trolls quite a lot of people, so I won't bother mentioning the stuff that he writes now and again. Usually he doesn't bother watching my channel, but when he does, it's never positive. It's always something either sarcastic or just rude or just basically saying I'm stupid. And that's not new. He does that with a lot of people. He called Luca Turin the C word and basically insinuated that he should take his Kindle edition of his perfume guide and shove it up his arse. So he's a lovely chap. I can only assume that someone with that level of distaste and just unpleasantness must have a really shit life. I have a lot of empathy for people like that, because some people just aren't gifted a nice life. Some people just, you know, were dealt a bad hand. Maybe he's not happy with the way he looks, you know, maybe he's not happy with his job or where he is in life or the house he's living in, or maybe he doesn't have any friends, or maybe he's not married and is single and is depressed. There's a lot of elements why people are nasty and shit to other people, and I feel like most of the time it's more damage with them than the person that they're attacking. So I kind of have empathy for people that you know are like this, because I think their life must be really shit. You know, you know what I mean? And that's not, you don't wish that on people. It's not a good headspace to be in. You know, it's nice to be happy, and what more do you want out of life than being happy? You know. Comments like this: La Yukoam is terrible, quit lying, the dry down is pure cigarette ash. I only paid $65 online at a reputable store and still sent it back. There is absolutely difference in quality between Tom Ford. So basically get insinuated that, you know, I'm lying if my opinion doesn't match theirs. I think La Yukoam by Rasasi is a very spot-on clone of Tuscan leather personally, and I don't think you'll ever get a better clone of Tuscan leather. It smells pretty much the same. It's a little bit sweeter with the raspberry. It is slightly different, but man, it's just as good a quality, like, really. But it's personal opinion. He's fine to think I'm wrong, and I'm fine to think he's wrong. But there you go. When something it's so subjective, perfume is like ridiculously subjective. Like, I'm not a fan of seafood. Me eating a crab, I would probably vomit. Like, I can't handle that. The smell of it alone makes me sick. But other people would love eating crab and lobster. It's not for me, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong or that I'm wrong. It just means that there's a different taste, and it's exactly the same with perfume. Just as, you know, you might not like watching the movies that I watch. It doesn't make anyone wrong or that they're lying. I ate a pizza last night. Someone might think pizzas are absolutely disgusting, and why would you ever eat a pizza? Why am I lying? No one likes pizza. This pizza tastes dreadful. Why are you lying? It's that mentality. It's mental. So Anyway, yeah, we'll move on to the next. A few of the really bad comments, I'll be honest, I ended up just deleting a lot of them. And it's stuff that I can't be bothered to reply to. Like, I get some comments that are just looking for arguments and just basically troll comments that I just don't have the energy to just bother with. It's like, if someone thinks certain things, then I just delete. You know, I can't be arsed with certain things. But a lot of the comments that are negative, I do just leave. I mean, I can't have the energy to scroll through however many. I think I've got, like, how many videos have I got now? Okay, so I've got almost 300 videos on my channel. I'm not scrolling through all of them to find every mean comment. Most of them just stay up there. I'm sure a lot of you have seen negative comments on my channel before. Most of them are positive though, but you're always going to get negative. Just as with any video you upload, you always get thumbs down. It doesn't matter what it is. I could do a video praising another reviewer, saying they're really good, check them out, they're awesome, nothing but good words to say, and that could get a few thumbs down. And like, why? But why does it get thumbs down? Nobody knows. But it doesn't matter what you upload, it will get thumbs down. Doesn't matter what YouTuber you are. This is across the platform, not specific to reviews on fragrance. Doesn't matter what you do on YouTube, you will always get thumbs down for no reason. It's just how it is. Just me talking about that will guarantee a certain percentage of people right now clicking the thumbs down button because they think it's funny. We're getting off topic. So a few comments I do delete. Ones I did delete were on the brand Scent Story, and I reviewed 24 Gold. And at the time, people were talking about it, like hyping it up and saying it lasts forever, like 24 hours or whatever, you know, over 12 hours, really strong longevity. And someone sent me a sample, and I tested it out, and I wasn't getting that kind of longevity at all. Like, it lasted like half the time. I think it was something around 6 hours. I mean, it wasn't bad, it was still decent longevity, it just was nowhere near what other people were saying. I gave the honest review, and I asked the question, I wonder if it's been reformulated, because I'm not getting the same as what other people seem to get. You know, I expected longer, not that it's bad, but I'm only getting this amount of time. Now, I didn't say this has been reformulated, I just asked the question, and people annihilated me in the comments, like really rude and aggressive, saying that, basically saying I'm completely lying, and why would I do that? And that it's disgusting, and that this fragrance lasts 24 hours, and just completely being rude and obnoxious. And it was amazing. Like, I was almost getting like proper threats, and I was like, dude, I will send you the sample, you can test it yourself. And they were like, no, I don't want it. And I'm like, well, why argue with me then? I'm telling the truth. I'm offering to send it you for free, and you can test it for yourself to show that I'm not lying. It didn't go anywhere. They were just adamant that I was lying, and they didn't even want me to send them the sample. It was just ridiculous. A private message from Scent Story, and they basically begged me to delete the video, and basically told me that no, it wasn't reformulated, and they think they'd had a bad batch, and then later on they'd put on the website something about this bad batch, and then people were gossiping about that for a while. It was weird, but I didn't delete the video, it's still up, but I did delete the ridiculous comments that I got. And you'll see the amount of thumbs down on that video, I think. You know, you'll judge the reaction there if it got a little bit crazy. I've had other reviewers call me a prick in private Facebook groups. I've since worked it out with that person, but at the time I was quite offended. And you see gossip on Facebook, you see gossip on Fragrantica. What really annoys me is that people share your videos, and I don't like that. Like, please don't share my videos in Facebook groups. Don't share them on Fragrantica. I don't want to see it, honestly, but people do, and then just people bitch. Like, people are really bitchy, especially on Facebook. The amount of shit I've read on Facebook is unbelievable. People like gossip and kind of making up just bullshit, just drama, just absolute garbage. It's unbelievable. I've had other reviewers insinuate that I'm a paid advert, and that I'm a, how is it worded? Something like a foot soldier for Matriarch. That gets thrown at me all the time, that apparently I'm sponsored, and that they pay for me to make videos and send me free bottles for review, and then I just pretend that I bought them myself. Like, it's quite... I don't know what the word I'm looking for, because it has very many different levels to the feelings. Like, it's insulting, for one, that you think I can't afford to buy them. That was another comment I got recently, was someone insinuating that... Oh, maybe I can find this comment. Okay, this is the comment. I think he'll like more of these if he can actually afford them. I'd take words from someone who actually bought and used them rather than someone who sniffed quickly and already made a judgment after several seconds. Yeah, right. So in less than a couple of minutes, you're done with a dozen of high-end brand perfume. I wonder who your followers are, trusting your opinion regarding perfume. I guess this is what YouTube is. Anyone can pretty much be anything they want. I should just play a doctor and make a diagnosis of a dozen people for looking weird, and therefore they all have cancer. Disgusting. And that's in relation to my duty-free Dubai videos. People don't really get those videos. They're meant to be just entertaining. Like, they're not reviews of a fragrance. It's literally a first impression in passing. Everyone has a first impression of a fragrance. I don't care who you are. You're going to have an opinion in the first several seconds. You just will. I just film myself. But it's not to be taken as gospel or as factual kind of solid opinion that won't ever change. They're just a general first impression in passing through an airport. It's just fun to film. I don't get what people's problems are really with that. But to assume that I can't afford them, he obviously didn't know why I was flying through Dubai. For someone to just say he's only slagging them off because he can't afford them, it's just wrong. Like, why make that assumption when you don't know anything about my circumstances? I don't know, it's peculiar what people come to these kind of conclusions. But people judge you all the time is really the point. And another thing that gets me is, and again, it's subjectivity, is if I review something and I say it's really good and it lasts 8 hours on my skin, someone else will come along and say, well, it only lasted 5 hours on my skin, why are you lying? And I didn't like how it smelled like shit. Like, why are you lying to me? You're not genuine, or you were paid off, you know what I mean? Okay. Can you not understand that some people like certain things and some people like other things? That's not hard to grasp. But seemingly with fragrance, people don't get that. They think that because they don't like it, everybody else shouldn't, and they think anyone else that does like it is lying. That seems to be the mentality from what I could work out. And it's mental. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. And longevity. Everyone knows that longevity is like... It doesn't matter what brand it is. Like, there's many fragrances from many different brands where some people get 2 hours and another person gets 10. And I don't understand the reason for it. We talk about skin chemistry, but I mean, that seems ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's genuinely the case. Like, I have Pomelo Paradis. On me, it lasts 1 to 2 hours. Smurfy Girl, it lasts all day, like 8+ hours. I know that. And she's not lying. She's telling the truth. Why would she lie? And that's just one example. I can think of like a dozen different fragrances where that's the case, where Tom Ford Noir Extreme, I just reviewed it, didn't last that long on me. Other people in the comments said it lasted 12 hours on their skin. Some could say they could smell it 24 hours later. On me, it was like 5. And plenty of people in the comments agreed with me that it didn't last on them, and plenty of people said it lasted ages on them. That is a big demographic of it lasts no time at all to it lasts forever. I don't understand it. It's weird to me, but that's the case. You know, some people just doesn't work. Some people it works, but the people where it doesn't work don't believe the people to say that it does, and vice versa. Like, there's a demographic there in the middle of people that accept that that's just how it is, and they're not bothered, and they appreciate that no one is lying. And then you've got people that believe because it only lasts 5 hours on them, if someone says it lasts 10, it means they're lying. That's the mentality, and it's totally wrong. And that's what just trips me up, really, that people can't wrap their head around that You know, it doesn't mean someone is lying, but people throw that at you all the time. And as a reviewer, you get the backlash of that more often than not, because in the review, you're telling people how long it lasts on your skin. When people don't agree with you, they call you a liar. A guy he calls himself Incubus. This is from a couple of years ago. This one is mental. I mean, it really is mental. So, here we go. Okay, this is long. I'm sorry. He's written an essay and he really doesn't like me. Wow. Okay. So it goes, let's talk. And let's reveal things which are very wrong with fragrance community. I'll start with the fraudulent fragrance house, at the time, House of Matriarch. Let me explain what's wrong with this house. They started merely as a small, so-called, natural ingredient, artistic enthusiast fragrance house. I don't know where you got that from. But in last year or two, they made unbelievable hype for their last line, which break every single record and moral code, in brackets, in marketing extremism. Their main marketing guru on YouTube, guy named FragranceView. He speaks so nicely and convincingly, he made up perfect, in quotation marks, job to cover himself. Made up job to cover himself. He thinks I make up that I fly to Dubai and work as an offshore diver. That's just a convenient cover story for my real job. Anyway, he had difficult life, and he is so good to animals. I am good to animals. I'm a very animal person. I care more about animals than I do people, I'll be honest. Every video is also followed by relaxing music and carefully adjusted in video editing software to your convenience. Sound like perfect person you can unreservedly trust, isn't he? Question mark. Well, don't be fooled. This dude is long-term investment kind of project. If I do this, it means he's put it in quotation marks. Which is made with taking a lot of time, effort, preparation and money to create ultra-convincing, ultra-honest brackets, even if it his self-declared characteristic, end bracket. Reviewer who believe it or not get some not insignificant influence in surprisingly short amount of time. This person clearly doesn't speak English as a first language, so I'm sorry, it's hard to read. Okay, it seems like another fish in the ocean, and most of people could say, well, so what? Problem is, the Fabian tactic method he uses over time to heavily slander most successful niche houses in the world. Some of them are nice, just to be more convincing. Like, he thinks this is all, like, tactical, like the last 4 years of my channel have been slandering luxury niche perfume brands, and that the odd nice review is just a cover to hide my true intent for giving a positive review to make. Like, the level of conspiracy is another level here. It's crazy. But anyway, I'll digress. A lot of them he slander later as the channel progress. The most bizarre of all is his statement that, here we go, get this everybody, this is hilarious. Hold on. Every single designer house is completely worthless! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Have you ever heard me say that? Really? In quotation marks, like I've actually told you that. Anyway, moving. Jesus Christ. Moving on. Why would he doing that, you ask? Well, there is one single fragrance house in those stinky world full of you ignorant enthusiasts which is capable to make every single fragrance amazing. You guess now, it is House of Matriarch, of course. Others are merely worthless, and you are amazingly stupid because you don't realise it yet. Of course, only way to try these heavenly liquids is blind buy. Samples, man. You can buy samples. Price is unbelievably extreme! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. People buy what they can afford at the end of the day. You know, no one has to buy. I'm not forcing anyone to buy perfume. It's up to you what you spend your money on. You can get a sample, you can not get a sample. I couldn't care less what you choose to buy. It's just mental. Because they are prodigy in stinky world full of disgusting designers and so-called niche houses. So if you want to smell half decent, well, pay you, little dumbass. I'm sorry, let me just read that again. Hold on, this is funny. Right, okay. Because they are prodigy in stinky world full of disgusting designers and so-called niche houses. So if you want to smell half decent, well, you pay, you little dumbass. What the I'm sorry, but unbelievable. At least it's funny. If you still think that some houses like Creed went too far with their marketing strategy, well, think again. There are reasonable, to some point, marketing strategies, and there are extremes. Under the extremes, I mean serious, liable, applicable for sue of business competition. So apparently I'm going to get sued now. Interestingly enough, those nice guy changes for 360 degrees and place very low punches, like serious offence to anyone who tried to raise his voice that he is very wrong. Deleting negative comments are extremely quick and very frequent. Obviously they're using YouTube and other internet service to convince people to buy their unspeakable perfection. Speaking of YouTube, their impact of naive followers was insanely surprisingly high, making thousands of people to blind buy their newest creation called Longing. So I guess he's written this after the Longing review. Name and video speak enough for itself. If you can't tell from that video that I was completely genuine with that reaction, and I told you in the video that I purchased the sample myself and I purchased the bottle myself, I mean, you're free to not believe me if you want, but if anyone doesn't believe me, I will log into my bank statement and give you frickin' the payment out, and I'll give you the invoice if you want. Like Wild West methods in past used to sell worthless cures in form of oil to deceive huge amount of badly informed consumers. However, some other sources just don't seem like they finding mutual language with these weird and some kind of intimidating house. This is a real essay. Can you imagine the amount of inner kind of turmoil this guy is feeling to be bothered to write this much? Like, where does that come from? You know what I mean? Over fragrance. I don't get it. There are already some hype victims who find these heavenly scents more or less like they came from the completely other side. Avoid using term hellish. Read for yourself here at Reddit. And he's given a link to a Reddit conversation which I've not read yet, presumably slating matriarch. Again, personal taste. Come on guys, it's not hard. There are some other reviewers who sell their dignity to this house, but interestingly enough, this is surprisingly small number. Most popular of them simply couldn't break their tongues to say anything positive to those scents. Let's go over this a second. Okay. So, for one, they're an all-natural brand. Not everyone, or mostly natural, not everyone is into that. Most people actually don't care and just have no interest in testing them in the first place. And most people think they're too expensive. So straight away, a lot of the reviewers aren't going to talk about them anyway, just because they're not interested. Okay, we've got Carlos, well-respected reviewer. He's reviewed them positively in the past. You can go look them up. He's a nice guy too. He also did an interview with Christy. You know, you can judge these things for yourself. Max Forte, another big one, he reviewed Kazemi. I know he got the bottle for free, so I think the review is biased. So take that with a pinch of salt. But the ones I reviewed, I paid for myself, for what that's worth. Stephen even talked about Devotion and liked it. Like, big reviewers have talked about them, but, you know, gloss over that for the negative kind of thing we're going for here. It is hard to believe, but I invested some time to analyse and investigate involving those weird YouTube channels. Results were distracting, at least for me. This is definitely weird to make such a review about an entire house, but I also have reasons confronting to the dude mentioned above to doubt that this is a unique case of using already existing hype in growing fragrance community to make thundering and most weird deception in order to make quick fortune. I made a quick fortune, apparently. Anyway, back to this guy's rant. He wrote some more things later on, a little bit further down. Okay, It's because he claims they are perfect. Okay, so other claim this too, but they slander, and by they mean me, but they slander every single fragrance house who prove to the world that they can make great fragrance, but no, they possess all the magic and everyone else is stinky. Their entire collection is awesome and designer are for poor stinky people, in quotation marks. He's literally put in quotation marks that I have said designers are for poor stinky people. Hold on. I'm sorry, my friend, but I must be a very poor stinky person because this, my friend, is a designer fragrance. There is a few examples you can check out by their marketing guy, i.e. me. They have videos about horror story of designer fragrance. He was left by his girlfriend, ! Because he was wearing designer fragrances in block capitals, ! What was good from niche is not good anymore because he found miracle named House of Matriarch! Amouage reflection does not project at all. They are fraudulent and he told it to you, in brackets. Actually, this fragrance is monster projecting. So this is fascinating to me because he's clearly watched many of my videos. He's referencing there with the Amouage, a video I did in Dubai duty free. On the way back, I sprayed on Amouage Reflection Man because I like the fragrance. Sprayed it on, and I was surprised that within 20 minutes, like I honestly just couldn't smell the thing anymore. Like it was a skin scent. I would have been comfortable going and spraying another fragrance on top of it. That was spraying it around my neck and on my hand. It was just not strong. Like, what can I say to that? That's how it was. Maybe it was an old bottle sat on a shelf for too long with a light on it. I don't know, but that's genuinely what happened. I think it's a nice fragrance though. But anyway, that's a ridiculous comment, is the point. And I don't know what this... I mean, what is he going on about? I mean, he's talking about my designer horror story thing with all the horror story fragrances, which talks about when I was younger, having designer fragrances and an ex-girlfriend giving me a disgusted... Like, there's a genuine story that actually happened. Like, I'm not making anything up. And I don't know what his point there is with that. It's odd to bring that up and not have any context behind it, or I don't know what he I mean, what it just doesn't make sense. Why even bring that up? Why is that a big deal? Anyway, Matriarch is so good that they deserve super exotic locations to review them. Guess who pay for it, in brackets. So here he's actually insinuating that Christy Michelle from House of Matriarch would fly a little British boy from the UK all the way to Peru to go to Machu Picchu to review her fragrance for her, when at the time I think I had like maybe a couple of thousand subscribers. Like, it wasn't that many, and my views maybe got about 1,000 views if I was lucky. Yeah, okay. I'm sure she's gonna fly me out to Peru, to Machu Picchu, then fly me down to Santiago, Chile, then fly me across to Easter Island, and then fly me back to England, and then fly me back to Egypt, and then fly me back to England again. I'm sure that is worth her time and money. I can't comprehend someone that genuinely thinks that that is a thing that would happen, because that's crazy and insulting to me. I worked hard to save up to go travel to the places that I've dreamed of seeing since I was a kid. Thank you very much. You know, I spend months of my life offshore on a ship at a dangerous job, working at the bottom of an ocean, putting together and repairing oil pipelines. I've worked hard for that luxury to go and see Machu Picchu, which I've dreamed of since, you know, I was small. That's a dream for me, and I went and did it, and I worked hard to accomplish that. No, nobody paid for me to go. That was my own hard-earned money. And it's ridiculous to believe that that would happen. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He kindly get fragrance samples from entire house, and he slander them how they are stupid and not caring because of graphic design of box provided is so bad that he would fire the entire team of designers, ! By the way, he isn't a designer, and design mentioned is not bad at all. So this is even more fascinating because he's clearly watched the majority of my content, yet he clearly hates me. So what he's referencing here, I know exactly what he's talking about, is my first impressions of Olfactive Studio, where I mentioned my OCD. I have a little bit of OCD with certain things, and one of them was the box. Now, it was an elongated rectangle, right? The cutouts to open the box were on the long side, so you had to open it like this, like with really stretch out hands. All I said in the video was, with my OCD, that would bug me, that why didn't they just design it where the little cutouts are on the width side, so you can just easily do it rather than having to awkwardly. It's common sense, right? That's just something that I picked out when I was just, I mean, it wasn't really a negative, it was just a passing comment. And also, one of the samples was the wrong way around in the box as it should be, which I mentioned, and I pointed out that the way I am, if I'd have realised that I'd put a sample in the wrong way around and it came to me at 3 in the morning, I'd literally have to get out of bed and fix it, because that stuff bothers me. But I gave all the fragrances a pretty positive feedback. Like, I liked them, and I spoke very positively of them. I was impressed I was impressed in the video that the fragrances actually matched the pitch, or some of the fragrance matched very well to the images and photographs that they were trying to emulate, and I was extremely impressed by that, because not many people pull that off. And I gave them, you know, really good feedback and said these are worth checking out, and I'm impressed. So it was a positive review, but he's wording it that I'm apparently going to fire all the designers, and I mean, it's just crazy. So moving on to the next line. Creed are all bad, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Expected, isn't it? So apparently I hate all Creed and they're all bad. Hold on a second. Bear that in mind. Can you see that? What's that? Or does that say Creed? Really? I thought Creed were all bad and terrible. Why do I own a bottle of it? Very strange. So, amazing. Anyway, and finally, if he was fragrance regulation body, he would fired and shut down 99.9% of all houses. That's how bad they are. Of course, Matriarch would be the only one left in this stinky world. So don't twist my words, he ends it. Interesting that he says don't twist my words when he's literally putting quotation marks things like for poor stinky people, which I have never ever said and never would say, because that's fucking ridiculous and crazy, and completely manipulated and changed pretty much every single point to like unbelievable places to suggest that someone from a small independent niche would bother or have the funds to send an English kid to the other side of the world just to review a fragrance. Mental and insulting to me, but funny nevertheless, because I mean, I hope that gave you a laugh. But this is what fragrance reviewers put up with. Welcome to YouTube. But like I say, House of Matriarch is something that I get a lot of flack for. I'll give you some ideas of the comments that are left about this house, just so you get a picture of how much kind of nastiness and hate there is for this brand. Here's one I pulled up. This house is so overrated, overpriced piss water is all House of Matriarch sells. One opinion. And then another one is overrated sugar water fragrances from the House of Matriarch. I knew it was pure garbage. No fragrance is worth $300+. These kind of comments are fairly regular with this brand. Don't like House of Matriarch packaging, it's dull, as is the name of the house. I saw an interview with the lady who creates I think all the perfumes, and she sounded like a total charlatan. Not surprised to hear the fragrance was meh. Amazing how simply charging a huge amount for fragrances gains them so much credibility. So you can see there's people that just don't like them because they're expensive. There's people that just don't like them even though they've never tried them. There's people that just genuinely don't like them, and that's fine. I genuinely don't like a lot of fragrances too, so that, I don't really care what you like or what you don't like. But what I don't like is people insinuating that if someone has a different opinion to them, that they're lying or a charlatan, or that they're paid off, and needs to be put into some kind of perspective here. I feel like it's very sad that we're in a world where a lot of people are not good people. People aren't good just because it's nice to be good. People only do nice things if they get something out of it. And that idea is completely alien to me. It really is. I've come from a mother that's very empathetic and caring and would go out of her way for anybody without wanting literally nothing in return. And that's where I come from. I'm of exactly the same mindset. That's where my headspace is at. Like, I will go out of my way to make someone feel good and be nice to somebody just for the sake of it, because it feels nice to do that. And when I found House of Matriarch, it was the first time since Tuscan Leather that I'd really connected that strongly with a fragrance, where I was to the point of like, wow, these are really good. I really want to own these. Like, these are really impressive to me personally. Taste is subjective. I don't care if you don't like them. That's completely fine. There's plenty of fragrances I don't like either, but I'd connect with them. And I, in my headspace, was like, this is an independent perfumer that no one's talking about. She does everything herself, and these are amazing to me. Of course I'm going to make a good video. It just so happened that, it timed nicely me discovering them when I did go travelling. I've wanted to see these places for a long time. I've been obsessed with ancient culture and Egyptians and Mayans and just, things like that since childhood. It's always been fascinating to me. It timed nicely, me finding something that I really connected with at the same time as going to those places. That's just coincidence. That's like stars aligning, lucky me. There was nothing in that apart from it just being pretty lucky. And so obviously when I'm in a nice place, the review is going to be pretty cool anyway, and obviously I'm going to make the most of it and film there. I also filmed a daily vlog video on my vlog channel where I pretty much filmed, probably not every day, but most days I was filming vlogs, and to remember my experience and to, I can go watch them back. You can see that on my vlog channel. And obviously I made the most to share it with on my fragrance channel. Why wouldn't I do that? I think you're missing an opportunity to share with your audience. And my main audience is this fragrance channel. Obviously, I'm going to make some fragrance reviews while I'm there. It makes sense to review something that I actually really like, which I did. And that's why they're good reviews. And that's, it's nice that they were in nice places. And it was nice to do that for an independent perfumer that no one was talking about, that I really connected with and thought were making great stuff. I genuinely just don't want anything from anyone. I've never been paid by her. There was no thought process in my mind that I'm going to do a nice review and she can write me a check for however much money and send me a ton of free bottles. That just wasn't on the radar. I don't think like that. And if you do think like that, like I've had a comment saying that I got the short end of a deal if she's not paying me, that's a very sad way to view life, and I feel sorry for you, because if you're only nice to get something out of it, then you are messed up. I don't want to be friends with you. leave my channel, please. I don't want people like that here. I'm a person that will do something nice without wanting things in return, and it's why that I don't get sent free stuff for review. I turn most of it down. Rainier only sent me a bottle because he really pushed the point that he really wanted me to review them, and he basically said it was more beautiful in the video to see the bottle. I actually told him, no, I don't want the bottle, please keep it, and he insisted. I'm not a reviewer to go out and get free stuff. I don't want all these bottles in my collection. My collection is never going to exceed that little space there in that bookcase. I don't want loads of fragrances. I really do not want them. It's frustrating, and how it left me feeling, to be honest, is that it felt like a betrayal, because my audience that I connect with were so quick to think negative of me. They were so quick to hang me up to dry and lynch me and think these horrible things of me, that I'm taking secret bribes and money from someone to promote them and making these amazing videos, and that obviously I can't do that just because I'm nice and I like something genuinely. It must mean that I'm completely fake and a paid sponsor, and they unsubscribe from me and leave me these nasty comments all over the internet to judge you completely wrongly and think the absolute worst of you. And I'm like, wow. And it doesn't matter what I say. It's like, you can't change these people's minds. They just think like that. And it's sad that the world is in that place where if you're nice, it means you want something from somebody. Like, can't we just be nice because it's nice to be nice to people? That's how I am. Like, I will. It just doesn't make sense to me that you only do a nice review in a beautiful place if you want something from it. If you only do that if you get paid, basically, or if you get a ton of free bottles. Like, I don't give a shit about money being given to me for making a perfume review. I don't want money, and I don't want free bottles. I would do those all day long if I love a fragrance, and I will go out of my way to make great reviews and edit them beautifully. And, you know, it's unfortunate that I can't go travelling as much as I'd like to, because I'd be making reviews all over the world, but it's expensive to go travelling and it's a luxury, and I can only do that when I can afford it. But the point is that it left me feeling just shit, to be honest, because so many people are so quick to judge me for being genuine, for being actually honest and sharing that I like something and doing, you know, a really good job of editing and making some beautiful videos, and then I get lynched for it like I'm some paid off sponsor with a check in the mail, which is completely not true and insulting to me. It just put me off. This is why you'll notice I've not bothered reviewing them in 8 months, because it makes me feel like, why should I? Like, why people have made me feel that I can't share what I like. I'm not free to talk about it because people think these things of me, and it's not true, and I don't like people saying that when it's not true. And so I just don't bother talking about them anymore, because I don't want that reaction from people. I just feel I wish I could go back in time and not bother doing those reviews and not bother being nice, and you know, just doing a top 10 list where it's multiple different fragrances. And it actually makes me feel, if I ever do find another house that I really connect with, not to give, you know, a particularly really good review, I'll just be like, oh, found this, it's quite nice, and I won't do fancy editing. I hate this word hype. If you give something a positive review because you genuinely like something, why does this get branded as hype? Why? Like, what is that about? And then people are put off trying it because someone else likes it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I feel like I can't have genuine excitement or passion for something because I just get branded as always hyping something. And it's like, what does that even mean? Like, that kind of alludes straight away that you're getting something for free, or you're being paid, or that it's not genuine. It feels that way to me, and I don't like that. If I'm sharing something because I like it, it's because I like it and it's honest. And, you know, why is that hyping something? You're just sharing sharing something that you enjoy. And it's just, there's so much wrong with this fragrance community that it just makes me a bit depressed sometimes to think about it. You know, this is kind of the reasons why people step away from YouTube and delete their channels and don't bother uploading for months at a time, because it's this kind of crap that we have to deal with as reviewers, from judgmental people that are just very quick to think the absolute worst of people. And all I can assume is that the people that do that are not good people, and that they wouldn't do that themselves. You know, they aren't nice, and they aren't genuine, and that they will only do something nice if they get something out of it. I feel like that must be the headspace of these people, because they just can't relate to someone else being genuine. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's completely backwards. But honestly, I feel like never giving anything particularly an amazing review, because I don't want to be accused of being paid sponsor. I don't want to be accused of doing hype. So if you want to know what it's like being a YouTube reviewer, there you go. One thing, I'm just going to point out one thing that I find very hypocritical with this community and completely ridiculous, is that the biggest problem with these hates on Matriarch is the price. I just want to point out, just to show how stupid people are, Tom Ford fucking Fabulous costs £218 for a 50ml. Not many people have really made a big deal about the price. People go out and buy it in the hordes full. Right, that's not that much more expensive than a full retail of House of Matriarch. House of Matriarch in pounds sterling is about £250 when you take in the exchange rate from $330. So £250 to basically £220 for a Tom Ford. I guarantee the Tom Ford bottle will be at least 90% synthetic and probably cost less than £10 to produce the juice, the bottle and the box. So yeah, you know, good on you for having common sense. And I think, you know, if you want to shit on a niche independent perfume company that makes everything by hand themselves with natural ingredients mostly, and shit on them for it, for selling for £250 a bottle, but you're quite happy to go and buy a 90% synthetic perfume where you're literally paying at least £200 just for the label on the bottle. I just don't get people's logic. Now you've got to bear in mind that Matriarch have loyalty points and they often do sales. You can easily get 40% off and 50% off on a bottle of Matriarch. Let's divide that up, shall we? £253.33 divided by 2. 126.6. Let's put this in perspective. A half-price Matriarch sale or 50% of your loyalty points, quite easily attainable if you wait for a sale or you have loyalty points. It's not hard to do that. You can buy a full 50ml bottle of Matriarch for £126, right? I think a bottle of Nasomatto is £125. It's £6 more expensive for a full bottle of Matriarch than it is a Nasomatto. When was the last time you heard anyone complain about the prices of Nasomatto? Loads of people buy them, no one complains. Just to put that in perspective, because it's something that winds me up. Here's another comment left on my channel, which I didn't delete, like this guy says I do. Another House of Matriarch commercial. I do believe you when you say you buy the bottles yourself, so if Christy doesn't have you on her payroll, then you're getting the bum end of the deal. She doesn't have me on a payroll. I've never been paid a dime. Nothing, zilch, zada. I mean, it's so rare that I get free stuff. I don't even bother asking for free samples. I go out and buy my own samples. I buy samples from Bloom Perfumery, from Lucky Scent, directly from houses themselves. I don't bother pestering people for free stuff. I just don't care. Like, I have enough. You know, I can afford to buy my own stuff. I don't need handouts. And no, I'm not on a payroll, and I don't want to be. Like her fragrance can speak for itself. If you like it, sample it. If you don't bother. I really don't care. It's got to a point where it actually pisses me off, to be honest. Here's another one. Julius writes, "Does this house sponsor you?" ? Didn't delete it, and I replied. My reply was, no, not at all. I pay for my own samples and I pay for my own bottles. I don't get anything for making videos or reviews, I just enjoy the fragrances a lot. I'm not sponsored by anybody, never have been, never will be. Would you like me to show you my invoices for purchasing them? Because it's no problem. I work offshore as a deep sea diver, I really don't need sponsor money or handouts. And it's very true. I will never be sponsored. I don't need the money. I don't want sponsorship. I don't want free bottles sent to me. I really don't care. I don't want to be involved with any brands that way, or any companies or any websites that promote or sell things. I genuinely don't want anything to do with any of them. I've had plenty of companies offer to send me free bottles where I've written back and said, no thanks, keep it. I'm not really interested. I'm sorry. That's happened multiple times. The same person from the other comment, Terry, he seems alright though. No hard feelings, Terry, but here we go. We get it, Peter. All you like is House of Matriarch. Like, it just, honestly, it gets tiresome and it makes me sigh. I mean, I don't know what to say, really. It got to the point, I think you can get the picture now, that I'm kind of sick of it. And if I could go back in time, genuinely, I wouldn't bother reviewing them. I really wouldn't. If I could hop in a time machine and go back to when I went travelling, I would maybe do the one review for them. That's it. And because I think they were genuinely very good fragrances, they matched well. Maybe I would have done Devotion in Egypt because it works so well in that location. I should have just done a top 10 video or something that would have been popular with multiple different brands, so I can't be accused of anything. So going back to that original thread by Incubus, he also writes, even more by the way, like this, I'm not kidding, this was a 9-page thread and he posted multiple times within it. Anyway, a lot of other people search for information of all kind too and find a lot of scum on the internet. I told what I think and I leave to readers to pick up or leave my 2 cents on the thread. And yes, I think it is ridiculous how this house pay their marketing expert to fly to Dubai right at the place where almost entire fragrance world have their offerings. Fantastic place where he can heavily slander all of them without being noticed. I would like to see him to repeat this behaviour in some boutiques in London for a change. I doubt anyone will let him in with a camera. Marketing, well, it's not all about lies. It could tell a lot about house itself, like an example that they don't even notice it. He genuinely believes that House of Matriarch flies me to Dubai where I can go and slander all the niche competition. I mean, I'm almost speechless. Jesus, go and watch my What Do I Do for a Job video. It's quite obvious why I fly to Dubai, because I work for an offshore diving company that fly me there to go and work on a ship in the Persian Gulf for a month at a time. And I work repairing oil pipelines on the seabed. I have videos of that. You can watch me do it. Like, it's not a cover story. I'm not conveniently made a fake job that sounds impressive. Like, you can physically go and watch me do it on the ship. You can see me under the water. You can hear me talk through the comms. You can see me fixing a freaking oil pipeline. And he says, don't twist my words. And, like, he's just unbelievably just making complete crap up. I just don't get how someone can have such a level of hate to make absolutely ridiculous comments that just clearly wrong. Like, there wasn't very many people on this thread, like, taking it seriously, but one person wrote, FragranceView flies to Dubai because he works there, offshore pipeline maintenance. Hilarious that you think Fragrance House based in the US would pay a YouTube reviewer based in the UK to fly to Dubai for the purpose of slandering other perfume offerings. Thank God there is someone with a brain. Like, thank God, because I'm losing faith in humanity right now, to be honest. I just don't get it. All I can assume is that this person is maybe jealous that I am fortunate enough to be able to fly to these beautiful places in the world and see these places, and maybe he feels like he can't, and he's lashing out thinking that I was paid to do that, because how could I possibly afford to do that myself? I mean, that's how it feels, and that's sad. I really don't get jealousy. It's a bizarre thing to me. Like, I'm happy for someone if they go and do something nice. Like, I mean, for the level of someone to be that upset to go and rant that much on the internet and like literally write an essay and watch dozens of my videos, completely twist them all out of context, quote me for things I've never said. What possesses someone to do that? Like, how? I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's bizarre. I've just shared with you just a little kind of a small portion of the kind of things that get thrown at you as a YouTube reviewer. It just comes with the territory in being a public domain. I completely get it. People will judge you regardless, so it doesn't really matter what you do or what you say. People will believe what they want to believe. They see what they want to see, and they don't really care about finding out the truth because their opinion is the right one. Obviously, that's how people are. I completely accept that people can think whatever they want, but it just sheds some light a little bit on what it's like to be a YouTube fragrance reviewer. But genuinely, I'm not kidding, it has tainted my enjoyment of Matriarch. I don't like talking about them anymore. There's always someone that is a fan of something, but I'm not the only one that likes that house. Mr. Oswald, he has like 20 Matriarch fragrances. He bought them all. He's never been given them. He went out and bought them all. He enjoys them. Kristen from Beauty Meow, she owns like 20 full bottles of Matriarch. She purchased them all, and she loves them. It's not just me that likes them, but just because someone likes them and someone else doesn't mean that someone's lying. It's just a ridiculous notion. I can't wrap my head around the people that think that way, because it's just stupid. On the positive side of being a YouTube reviewer, it's rewarding sharing a passion with other people that share a passion and that are genuinely open-minded, and other honest people, and people that are just really good people. There's lots of great people in this community that often feels fragmented and broken. There's a lot wrong with it all, and I understand a lot of where people come from, because there are a lot of reviewers that are just given free stuff all the time, and I'm sure there's probably reviewers that get paid to make videos, and you're right to be suspicious, and you should question that. I think that is a very good thing to be aware of that. I know myself that I don't go out for free bottles, and I very rarely get given free bottles, and most of the time when I'm offered them I turn them down and say no thank you, and I purchase most of my own samples. It's even rare that people send me samples, so I know in my heart that I am genuine and that I pay for most of my own stuff. And how many times have you heard me say this has been sent for review? Not many, because most of the stuff I buy myself. And I try to emphasize that point. Maybe I should do that more often so it's 100% clear. And there's nothing wrong with being sent free stuff. Other people that get sent genuinely get free sent stuff and tell the audience that they get sent free stuff, they don't get this kind of level of hate thrown at them, but I do, and I'm the one that buys the stuff myself. It just blows my mind, to be honest. So I don't really get the logic of the community or the people in it, to be honest. And this is why people step away, because they just need a break from it. So it can be quite toxic. It is a bit of a toxic environment for reviewers, and you have to really cleanse yourself of it. And as a casual viewer, you probably won't feel that way. But as a reviewer, when you're in it every day and you're getting comments and you're getting people talking about you in Facebook groups, and you're immersed into it, and it can get toxic, and people just need a break from it. And I'm glad when I've gone offshore for 2 months, because it separates me from it, and I'm around friends, and I have a normal existence, as much as you can have a normal existence offshore on a ship. But it's easy to be nasty and cynical and just nasty, just horrible online. Like we're in the age of social media where people stare all day on the phones, and it means nothing to write someone a nasty comment if they're having a shit day, or they've got a shit life and they're jealous of someone, or they're just not a nice person. It's so easy in this day and age to be a vile human online because there's no consequences and there's no barrier. There's nothing that can be done there. Whereas these people wouldn't dream of saying this stuff to your face, and if they knew you in person, they would probably have a very different opinion, because really all people are judging you on is a 5-minute video of you talking about something that you like or you don't like. They don't see your full life, or how you've grown up, or what you've dealt with growing up, or understand what my life has been for the last 30 years. Nobody really knows that in detail apart from me, and you can't judge someone that way. And generally speaking, my subscribers are amazing and really nice, great people that I love interacting with, and thank you for, being a part of my little bubble, because I don't have anyone in my real life I share this passion with. I don't have any friends here that give it 2 cents about any kind of fragrance. You're my outlet for that, and I'm really appreciative of the people that connect with me on that, and that's why I keep going, at least. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again next time with the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Oh, and remember, always sample, never blind buy a bottle. I do not encourage blind buying. Spend your money how you want, but please make sure that you like it first. Don't waste money. I'm not going to be held responsible for you spending your money. You have to control the way you spend your money, not me. I will make sure to remind people in every single video from now on, for forever, to not blind buy fragrances, because I don't want to be landed with that responsibility of you buying something and then blaming me for it. So please sample. It's not difficult to sample things. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye.